Let's take two of my hobbies, rock hounding and woodwork, and let's combine them together. Let's take our piece of Jasper and slice it up into nice round circles. Of our Jasper that we've been slicing on the stone saw. When we combine them with a beautiful piece of maple, you can see that the color. We have our 3.5-inch hole cutter in which our Jasper has to fit in that hole. So now what I need to do is place this over top of my Jasper. And then draw a line there. This material here, I will cut off. The rest of this will fit within that 3.5-inch diameter. The gaps along the sides here, I'm going to fill those with clear epoxy. This is my Covington lapidary saw. It runs off an oil emulsion. You can see the line that I have here. We're now going to trim it up on the saw before we take it over to the lapidary wheels. That's all that's left after we get done trimming it. I'll take those down on my 80 grit wheel. I'll cut the other ones and then I'll show you how I do the work on the lapidary wheels. We're over at my Cab King right now. As you can see, the edges are rough all the way around. So we're going to clean the entire edge to get rid of all this broken material. And then when we have edges like this that go out really narrow, we're going to carve those down so that they're nice and solid. Okay, here's our first piece. We'll work on that, get it cleaned up on my 80 grit wheel. So I'll keep working until all of the silver line is done. It's just a matter of grinding away now. I have a 1/2-inch piece of maple, which I did cut down to 4 inches in width. Now I have to cross cut this into 4-inch sections. This is my bandsaw circle jig. I have just measured from the center of this blade to this point here and put a hole into my board. This distance is 2 inches, and therefore my circle diameter will be 4 inches. I found the center of my block, and I've pre-punched a hole here so that it will fit on that nail. Set up, let's cut our first circle. Okay, there it is. There's our circle. We still have our center hole so that when we go to drill out this interior on the drill press, we know where the center is. These are our circles. I have hot glued them on because the distance from the blade to where I'd be holding is so small, and I like to be safe. A nice ring cut. Okay, I'll do the other ones and then we'll move on to the next step. Cleaning off the hot glue from your rings, the outsides will still have band marks from your bandsaw. Use your belt sander and sand them smooth. I have taken the rings of wood, mounted them onto some other wood with packing tape underneath of them, and then caulked around each side. I have two pieces, that way if one leaks, it won't be nearly as hard to try and fix. I have my boards attached to a thicker piece of lumber that I know is flat, and I leveled this out. I've now put a piece of Jasper next to the hole that I want, so I get my good side up. I'm now going to mix my epoxy and pour them in. Mixed up my clear epoxy resin. Now it's time to pour into the molds. Center your stone as best as you can. These are the 6 coasters that we've put together and added epoxy to. I am still very surprised at the amount of air bubbles that are coming right up out of the rock. The next time I do this, like a piece of wood, I will epoxy the stone first, let it dry, and then pour it into the mold. We're at the stage where we've pulled them out and I flattened them on my belt sander and then took some compound and polished them to 4000 grit. They're looking pretty good right now. From this point on, we're going to take them down to my lapidary wheels and we'll polish them with 10,000 and 50,000 grit to get them sparkling and shiny. We're at my lapidary wheel and I've applied 10,000 grit paste there. Let's take one of my coasters and polish it up. Coasters have been polished to 10,000 grit, and this is what they look like now. Our last step will be to take some butcher block oil and oil the wood. I have my oil rag. Let's just run a little bit on it and see what it looks like. This oil one and non-oil one. There's not a lot of change here. This is hard maple, so it doesn't absorb quite as much as soft maple. So this feels like shit. There's the oiled one and the non-oiled one. There's not a lot of change here. This is hard maple, so it doesn't absorb quite as much as the soft maple does. So just get a slight color shift. These are our 6 coasters. They've come out pretty nicely. They still have some beautiful color to them. Not bad for a first try. I believe the next time that I do this, I will use a lighter color stone, and I will make this ring a bit thicker so that it gives me a little more room when I go to polish them down. It did end up with a couple air bubbles here and there. Other than that, they're very nice. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you really like it, give me a thumbs up and click the button down there and subscribe to my channel.